Hey everyone, it's me, Sloth, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a Sorcerer guide. Sorcerer is one of those classes in Vesteria that are really easy to level up, really easy to build, and still do solid enough DPS and boss like the Possum and Isaiah to get loot and silver, so I recommend this class if you're like new to RPGs and just don't really want to get into complicated things or in-depth things like that. If you want to see more Vesteria content, I do upload a lot of Vesteria videos. That's basically what my whole channel is. I know that there's been a drought since the game is free to play, but I want to get more into YouTube and stuff, so subscribe and also like this video if you want to see more from me. I also have a Discord server if you want to join that, if you have any questions about things like other miscellaneous things, so join that too. A link to that would be in the description. Anyway, let's get into the guide. So first, to get to the Sorcerer subclass trainer, you do have to be level 30 to join Sorcerer. You have to be a level 30 mage. Just go to Tree Life, warp right here, and climb up these stairs. And then once you're up here, he's literally just to the left of the normal mage trainer. Before we get into the stats and skills, I do want to mention something real quick that I've been getting asked a lot is, where are these dummies? Where can I test my DPS and just find these dummies? The answer is a bit complicated, but basically you need a tier 3 guild hall. A guild hall is what you get when you make a guild in Port Fidelio from the guild hall, and then you basically just spend 100 gold by donating to a safe to afford a guild hall. They can be found in any safe area. There's a Tree of Life one, there's a Nilgarth one, there's a Mushtown one, and yeah, you get the tier 3 one. Every single tier 3 one has the dummies you can test for DPS. Now let's get into the actual guide. So for the stat build, I like to do all intelligence. That's why I said this class is really easy to build, since basically just putting all your points in intelligence the whole game. You don't have to do anything more complex. You can optionally do 10 dex. 10 dex will increase your mobility. There's hidden interactions with each stat point. For example, 70 intelligence actually decreases all cooldowns by 15%. The crappy thing about it is that the game doesn't tell you about these interactions. And there was a post in the forums about it, but that recently just got shut down. So I don't actually have all these memorized, but I just remember like 5 dex increases like stamina or something, and then 10 dex increases movement speed. So do that if you really want to. It might be better on PvP and stuff. And for the skill build. For the skills, double slash obviously, but adventure skills don't really matter. Just do magic missile, max out magic missile actually. That does matter. But regeneration rock throw, it doesn't really matter. Now the mage book. This one, it's a bit controversial because people like that new staff, the Forgotten Staff, that boosts Thunder Call. And if you like that staff, use it for farming slime pits or pit ratties, slime pits. Then yeah, use the Thunder Call. Max this one out instead if you like using the Forgotten Staff. For me, on the other hand, I don't really use the Thunder Call ability. And honestly, if you're new, like you're a level 30 Sorcerer, just keep pure Mana Bomb. This is what you get when you have a ton of intelligence, basically. And Blink. The reason I have 4 points in Blink is that putting 5 points in Blink is completely useless. But the 4th point in Blink will lower the cooldown from 5 to 4 seconds. So this makes you travel easier. And also, it's just putting that 5th point only increases the MP cost, and it just makes the power go up. The reason Blink has power is that most people don't know this, but it can actually do damage if you have 30 strength. The thing is though, we don't have 30 strength, so this is useless, and just put 4 points into it. And for the Sorcerer book, this is also really easy to build. When you're new, just level up Frost Call and Meteor Strike. Meteor Strike is really good for leveling up lots of enemies at once, and even later in the game when you're grinding areas like the pit and all that. And Frost Call, honestly, this falls apart endgame, but when you're leveling up as Sorcerer, this is a really good single target damage move, so level up Frost Call too if you're pretty new. Earth Call, it's a pretty bad ability. It can be good in PvP since a stun basically means they're dead, but it does leave that little lag. Like, let me show you the abilities. So Sorcerer abilities have this, like, I casted Ice Call, and notice how I can't really move or jump for that frame or whatever animation while I'm doing that. This can leave you very vulnerable in PvP, and Earth Call is the same thing, which is why it isn't as good, even in PvP or PvE. Because it does low damage, and the stun is generally useless when you just kill them right away with the Ice Call. Then there's Meteor Strike, which used to be really OP, but it's gotten nerfed before the game went free. It's just, yeah, you get a whole horde of enemies, and it has burning damage. This also works in PvP, but again, you get that little frame where you can't move, so it is what it is. This is a really good ability for leveling up, though. It's a really good AoE, and honestly, you'll steal a lot of kills with this, so it's a good ability. Now for the equipment. For the equipment, you do want the slime infused hat. This is dropped from slimes in the pit. Increases critical by 5, and you also get plus 29 intelligence. This can also be great scrolled to add plus 6 stats. It won't increase the critical, but yeah, it can go up to 35 intelligence if you fully great scroll this, which I haven't done yet. But this is the best mage hat for pretty much all mages. Hobo armor is the best armor for mages as well, since it's just a lot of defense. If you can get this in Keen or Swift, even better. But even then, other stats don't matter. Just Hobo armor is just the best armor for mages in every class, except maybe Berserker, who still benefits from the Gladiator armor. For the staff, I know this is a very badly upgraded Astrologist, but this is my favorite staff for mage. It's still not the Forgotten staff, which is the one from the pit, or possum, I mean. But the reason I use this one is still best single target damage. The thing about Ice Call is that you have to aim it right, and for bosses, I feel like stars are still a lot better. I get more drops from the possum in the pit than I do with this Ice Call ability, and it's not really good to alternate from them either, because then, maybe it might be, but not really. And for the boots, you want Scare Boots. This is pretty much for every mage. One little bug I found with this is notice how on this speed, right, with the Scare Boots, when I equip this staff, now I'm faster. Based on whenever my avatar equips or unequips something, I think the perk, the walk speed perk and the jump, doesn't actually work in a new server until you unequip or re-equip anything. So just keep that in mind, but when I do that, I usually have a lot more mobility, so Vesteria is a buggy game, keep that in mind, but it is what it is. Just do that and you'll probably walk a lot faster. So that's pretty much it for Sorcerer. Like I said, it's a pretty solid class if you're just new to RPGs. Don't want to get into all the complicated mechanics of building classes and all that. It's just full intelligence, full meteor strike, full ice call, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Just use the best mage gear. One thing I would like to note is that if Sorcerer were to get new meta, which will happen when new areas come out, new better gear comes out, I'll just leave a pinned comment in the description with all the new gear you should use, which I have done on all my other subclass guides as well. So if you've watched those, be sure to check those out as well for the pinned comment, which updates you on all the new gear for that class. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for 1K subscribers, and that's it. Bye.